Hello everyone, my name is Garrett Ogamber and we're looking at a game here called Project Wight. This looks amazing. I've been saying for the longest time I want a game that's open world, potentially an RPG, lets you play as a monster, not a person. And this game offers to do that. It offers to do exactly that. You play as a wight, or at least that's what they're calling it. If you're not familiar with a wight is a creature of Norse mythology. It means man, but it's used to describe a variety of creatures that resemble men, and they're not. So this is pretty cool. The concept for this game is you are a member of this species, and the Norse have slowly started to eradicate your kind. You start out as a child, and you grow up, and you level up, and you do whatever it is that you would do. It's not a horror game as people would have you think, but I guess there's a bit of horror element to it because you're the monster. It's not meant to scare you, it's meant to show you the point of view of this creature. And I think it does a fantastic job of doing this. This game apparently came out of nowhere, and I think I'm a little bit late to the party to realize of its existence. I accidentally stumbled across it today, so I decided to, throw this video together to talk about it. So what you saw there was as much as I'm going to show of the official release trailer. And yeah, what are your thoughts about this? Because me personally, I've been waiting for a game like this. I love games that take the known meta and they change it. They convert it into something else. So they could have made any other sort of medieval game, because medieval games are very hot right now. There are a lot of medieval games coming out, Bannerlord included, and of Kings and Men and things like that. There's so many coming out this upcoming year. And this game is in that category, but it's doing something I am so appreciative for. It's taking what you know and it's transforming it. So this is a game created by a bunch of developers from a variety of other games, notably Battlefield, I believe, and they're called The Outsiders, and I think that's actually a very appropriate name for your studio, for your group of people that are designing this game that kind of goes outside the box. I know I'm kind of reading into that, but that's my impression. I love games that take what you know and they twist it. I really enjoy that concept. So I've been begging for somebody for years now, make a werewolf game, do something with that. This is as close as I'm gonna get for now, and it's fine because it's an open world game where you play as a creature. I'm all about concepts. I love concepts when it comes to video games because growing up we didn't have games that were this advanced. Mario was a flat plane, and you jump around, you run around. You're just trying to get through the level. Now, in this day and age where games are so much more advanced, people who have dreamed of what they could do with video games are making the new games. This is one of those examples. Somebody said somewhere, I want to adapt a dual kind of game. Let's design a Norse game, let's design a medieval world, let's design, swords and armor and dark, cold nights and trying to survive, but let's have you be the monster instead of the people. That's fantastic. I do love that concept. It doesn't appear to be a multiplayer game. It seems to be a single-player game only. If they ever decide to do multiplayer, I'm sure that there'll be a thing where people could play as the Vikings, because you're supposed to be the last of your kind. It could be a thing like Dark Souls, where people try to invade your world and hunt you down, constantly. So you have a huge open world like Skyrim, and you're trying to stay alive, and you got intelligent human players trying to hunt you down. This is an amazing day and age for video games. And you can do so many things. There's so many ideas flowing around. I'm sick and tired of games that have guns and are PvP focused. I am so tired of seeing shit like that. I had a limited amount of time with games like that back in the GoldenEye, Perfect Dark era, and honestly, they were not the wave of the future. I'm surprised Call of Duty and Battlefield have gotten this far. However, I'm thankful for their influence in a lot of games, because if it wasn't for somebody to make the same repetitive game every year, we wouldn't eventually have a winner like this. Now, it remains to be seen what this game will be like. A lot of people have had a lot of skepticism about video games recently, considering No Man's Sky. Again, to the defense of the people who were designing the game, they weren't very good at explaining things. They did not lie. They just were not good at talking to the media. They should have just said, wait and see what the game's about. People just became victims of their own hype, and they started falling into this hole that they dug themselves. That's what happens. Is No Man's Sky an okay game? It's an okay game. Is it the universe simulator? No, it's not. It's a game where you're supposed to get to the end. It's a game where you're supposed to catalog things. I enjoy No Man's Sky. I haven't felt like playing it in a while because it felt like a chore trying to farm up a better ship. It was enjoyable. I'll probably get back into it eventually, but I didn't fall on the hype train for that. Honestly, I couldn't have, because it took them so goddamn long to get the game out. I lost my interest, and then when it finally was getting ready to be released again, I was pretty okay with that. I was like, okay, that's cool. So this game, yeah, I'm on the hype train. I am on the hype train for this game. And I can say that honestly because, again, I've been speaking about this for years. I want a game that makes you play as a monster. Like, actually be the monster. And I know there's Evolve and things like that. I don't mean like, oh yeah, you just get to play as a monster. No, I mean that the whole game experience is a twist from the normal. You are a monster, you're leveling up, you're interacting with the world space as a monster would. That's why Dragon the game was so important to me, and why it's catastrophically struggling right now. And one, because they kind of released info on the game way too early, not enough info. First of all, there's not like any TV ads or things like that. It didn't get the attention that Minecraft had. On top of it, the game was barely finished. You don't call it an early access game. You call it a pre-alpha. That game is a pre-alpha, so it definitely shows its age, its wear and tear. This game looks like it's almost ready. It probably won't reach early access, and I'm hoping it gets on Steam. The developer didn't seem that interested, and that's a huge mistake. By when people are asking, is it going to be on PC, because we all have amazing computers now, and they say hopefully, no, have some like ambition there. You need to put it on PC. PC is the market right now. If you make a game only for the consoles, you're hurting your sales. You're hurting your sales. It's simply put. I know a lot of people have consoles, but there's even more people that love to play games on PC, and people like me who love to record said games and have an experience with their audience. Now, I should mention, before the end of this video, what is the main idea behind the game, other than being a monster? Well, it's supposed to be resemblant of the story of Grendel. From Beowulf and Grendel, there was actually a book published a while back, and it was another author's take on the Grendel. It was supposed to be comedy, and it was comedy, but it did make you feel something. It was cute, humorous, and of course it makes you sad if you know the story of Beowulf and Grendel. I mean, that book's not supposed to be taken seriously, but it gave the creators of this game a very good idea. And that's to take a monster, outright a monster by humanity's definition, and show you the side of their story. So you're supposed to get pissed off in this game as the creature. You're supposed to see what they're doing to your kind. In fact, there's a lot of dead bodies laying around, one of which is your own parent, and you grow up and then you become everything that they should fear. Your species has tried to exist, and the Norse seem to have a better advantage. I mean, obviously, they're Homo sapien. They have the ability to create fire. They have the ability to build fortresses and smith steel. And you're this creature that has survived with none of those advantages. So it's really fascinating at least to just wonder what they're going to do. I mean, from what we can see, you have your own advantages. You can pretty much glide, so I'm assuming the Wights in this have some sort of wings. And that's a really cool out-of-the-box idea, because Wights in all kinds of mythology do not have wings. They are literally very similar to zombies, but intelligent. So this is going to be an amazing game. It's going to definitely stand out. It's going to be unique. It's definitely one of those games right now I am automatically sold on. I looked at Agony. Agony is another game I really want to get into. I didn't do a video on that right now because, one, it's very graphic, and I will eventually be doing videos on it when it comes out, but I don't feel that doing a response trailer to that is going to really matter. Two, Agony's just, there's some people it's trigger, it's a trigger fuel for them, because there's a lot of tits and there's a lot of gore, there's a lot of satanic symbols, but that's kind of the point. It's supposed to elicit this response from you. Agony is about hell, literally. This game is about mythology, and they've made their own mythology with it, so you are trying to exist in this world and have your revenge while being an RPG. So I can imagine there's a lot of things you can spec into. There is probably some sort of progression system, like maybe you can choose not to have the wings. Maybe you could learn a skill to burrow or climb trees better. Maybe there's acid spray. Maybe your teeth can rend through armor. Different perks, kind of like Skyrim. If it's as free as Skyrim, that's going to be friggin' amazing. And I'm referring to Skyrim a lot because, not just because it's a Norse theme, but because Skyrim lets you really do whatever you wanted. All the Bethesda games, they have struggled to try to keep that balance between story and freedom, and they've done a damn good job of it. So that's why I often say Skyrim, because Skyrim was a prime example. Skyrim said, we're no longer going to force you to look at stat points. You get a perk point per level, you get a few, points into your health or your magic or your stamina. So every time you do something, it impacts how your character levels, but doesn't bork you completely. And you can always go back and switch your skills up later in the Dragonborn DLC. So in this game, I'm kind of hoping they adopt that from a game such as Skyrim, that is on such a lofty pedestal in RPGs and open world games that let you decide what you want to do. So in this case, you start leveling up, and maybe you start to gain points and more skills by using those skills, or maybe you just have the option to go different direction, different paths for your creature. Maybe you want to be a better swimmer, make your hands stronger. It looks amazing, and I love the perspective because you're crawling. They crawl on all fours. These Wights are very animalistic. They have a similar appearance to humans, which again, that's kind of the point of the name of the Wight, but they are very much animal and different. And, you're probably going to see a lot of characters refer to your thing as unclean. They appear to speak in a Nordic language. I can't exactly tell you which language that is because I'm not an expert on languages, but they speak Norse, and I think that's a really cool touch because it kind of immerses you. It's kind of like that caveman game, Far Cry Primal, where they're speaking in gutter speak or whatever you want to call it, like early Neolithic. It's made up, of course. No one knows that they didn't have a sense of writing down the language, but these people are speaking the very first forms of language. So in that game, you're feeling really immersed right off the bat because everything everyone says is some form of early communication, and it's in the world. And there's subtitles, of course, to let you know what they're actually saying. Of course, you could probably turn that off. I never played Far Cry Primal, but you could probably turn it off and just wing it. In this game, I think you could do the same. Or maybe there is no subtitles because you're a creature. You're not supposed to know what they're saying. And maybe people who do understand the language, because this is a real language, they probably can, they have an advantage in the game world because they know what the guys are saying. Like the Vikings are saying something like, we're gonna, corner it. get it to look at us or whatever, and somebody's like, I know exactly what you're saying, so they can use their strategy. You also have, they showed an ability, too, in the trailer where you can scream, and that actually disables a person from fear and sound. I can imagine wearing a metal helmet would not help in that circumstance, because if it's screaming in your face, it's probably going to echo around the metal. So there's a lot of cool things to see with this game. I have a lot of hopes for it. I know I'm probably hurting myself doing that. It's like, oh yeah, the hype train can end badly, but I am hyped. I am hyped for it. So you can check out their official Facebook. You can check out the official channel, which I'll be linking here. I would love to hear from the developers, but I would seriously doubt they would pay attention to this video. I am a fan already. I love what they're doing, and I want to see more. Hell, I mean, again, I know I'm asking for a lot here, but if there was, like, the same world with Werewolf DLC, that'd be cool. You'd have more than one creature to worry about. That'd be cool if there was a kind of a threat progression, like each of the different creatures. Like, let's say Troll, Werewolf, and Draugr. You'd have more creatures in the game, and you could play a new story through them. Let's say there was a threat progression system where all 3 of your saves, all 4 of your saves technically, would combine together in the game events. So let's say you're playing as the Wight, and you destroy a settlement. Well, you go on to your Troll save, and you go around lumbering around, you know, you're uprooting trees, and you're eating dead animals or whatever, and you see that the village has been destroyed because you destroyed it as the Wight. You could start encroaching on your Wight's territory, or even better, start adding additional problems for the Norse. That would be a fascinating concept, but I mean, that's probably going a little bit too far with the concept, is saying that, yeah, let's turn it into a experience where the humans are at such odds with everything. If you go that far, you might as well allow multiplayer and have people come into your game world as humans to try to push back the threats. And that would also make, you know, if they kill the troll, it'd be easier to come back as a werewolf or something else. And, you know, the advantage of the werewolf is you can be human during the day, so they'll never know. But for now, this seems to be I have to say, this is the best monster game I've ever seen, because there's only a few games that can really put themselves in this exact category. And playing as a Wight, that sounds so fucking fun. It looks so cool. It looks so cool. At first I thought it was Hellraid reimagined. When I first saw the trailer, I didn't look at anything. And the reason I thought that was because Dying Light plays the zombie, and you play as the super infected. Now that was fun. Unfortunately, it wasn't as big of an experience as it should have been. You should be able to truly roam around in single player and be a problem, because multiplayer is limited, because people always leave their games. Nobody wants to deal with the zombie in Dying Light, especially if the person is high levels, or if 1 or 2 parties is cheating. That's really what it is. So I don't care if there's multiplayer in this. I like single player games better for the most part. I do like multiplayer games that are good, that allow my friends to join. Yes, where would Diablo 3 be without it? I kind of wish it wasn't online always, but whatever. It's nice to be able to play with your friends. It's nice to be able to jump on Minecraft and have somebody you can take with you. Ark Survival Evolved wouldn't be as good as if it was just single player. Oh god, I can't imagine that game just being single player. I like single player, but you have to tweak all the options to be more kind. I'm not sitting around for 10 hours. Not even kidding there. If you haven't played the game on vanilla, 10 hours to tame a fucking Spinosaur. Even longer for a Giga. They released the Kraken footage. I can't imagine how long that's gonna be to tame that thing. Anyhow, don't want to get too far off topic here. You should check out this game. If you have the chance, check it out. It's looking good in terms of medieval games coming up this year. This is definitely going to stand out among them. I would say this is probably, I'm super psyched about Bannerlord. This is definitely number 2 now. I love State of Decay. And that video I posted a while back, a lot of people have had a lot of opinions both ways about it, and I still love State of Decay 2, but I have to say this goes up on the list because it's exactly the concept I want. It is the concept of playing as a creature. And that's what they're actually officially calling it. They haven't decided if it's a wight. It's called Project Wight, but you might as well call it a wight, because it is. It's a wight. It's not a Draugr because it's not undead. And I know there's some people out there that play D&D like myself are going to say, but wights are undead. It's like, but there's different kinds of wights. The historical wight was just a thing that resembled a man, that was a man, and is something that they didn't really know much about. It scared the shit out of them. So anyways, this is gonna be cool. And yeah, I mean, in terms of like other games under the same category, Dragon, I would love for Dragon to get to this point, but it never will. I can say right now, it will never have the fidelity of this, because these guys, they're an established studio. They came from different games, and they know how to make games. They know how to put Unity assets together. They know how to create their own stuff. They did admit a lot of the scripting was already done for them, but being able to geniusly put it together because they've had experience on larger games, this is going to be a great game. I keep hitting my microphone. I don't want to do that. It's going to be a great game. Even if it's not as long or as... It's not going to have as much substance, I'm sure, as an Elder Scroll game. It's not going to have all that lore behind it, but it has its own lore. It has history. Like, it's basing itself off of real history with, by the way, the monster's real kind of stuff. So it's right there in your face, and you are experiencing this world, but you're experiencing it as the creature. And that's just... I can't say it enough. That is the coolest thing. I love games that take this extra step, and I think it's going to be really special. Thank you all so much for watching. This is just, again, this is just an opinions video. This is first reactions. It's literally my first reactions because I learned about it about an hour or so ago. So I'm excited for it. If you're excited, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more of this game, definitely spam the shit out of the chat box. Tell me what you think, because I am going to play it. But I want to know how excited everyone is. And what's your game that you're looking forward to? Tell me that below too, because there's a lot of different games for a lot of different people. And we all have something to look forward to, if we have the money for it, of course. Sometimes money's hard to get, But, Christmas is coming. Buy something for someone special. Or, tell them what you want, things like that. Exchange gifts, exchange games, and have fun. Thank you all so much for watching.